Venerable Dr. Thích Tâm Đức will start now. And Dr. Thích Tâm Đức, you're going to have 10 minutes to finish your presentation. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. So my topic is meditation. My topic is an overlook of meditation in India, China, and Vietnam. Meditation in India, I mean meditation is guided by the Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha. And in China, meditation is guided by Huy Nẫn, the sixth patriarch of Zen. And in Vietnam, Zen master Trần Nhân Tông. So when I mention meditation in India, then you know that from the Buddha. In China, then from the Huy Nẫn or Huệ Năng in Vietnamese. And in Vietnam, Trần Nhân Tông. Okay? Yes. As you know, meditation plays an important role in Buddhism. And the Buddha got enlightenment through this method, through the meditation. And meditation in India, is based on the focus on breathing in and breathing out, and is based on 4 applications: body, feeling, mind, and object of mind. And when we practice meditation in India, then the practitioner will have supernatural power. For example, she can fly in the sky, or they can go through the earth, as easy as in the water, etc. But in course of time, meditation moved from India to China. And in China, the people there is practical, and they apply meditation in their daily life. And the effect or the method is transmitted from the master direct to their students. And in Vietnam, Trần Nhân Tông was the founder of Trúc Long Zen, and the method of King Trần Nhân Tông is combined the theory and practice. Here I mean that he advocates meditation and sutra. So in this topic of the paper, I want to compare a little the similarity and difference from meditation in India, in China, and in Vietnam. Now, my full paper in the book, but here just I mentioned the 7 points, similarity and differences, of the 3. First point, all of the 3 do not grasp anything in the world, and they lead meditators to the emancipation of Arahat in early Buddhism or in India, or the Buddhahood or Buddha nature in China and Vietnam. Second point, on the method, meditation in India contemplates the origination and dissolution things, while the other two, in China and Vietnam, internally or in the Buddha nature, contemplate the Buddha nature, and as the focus. The third point, China is meditation in China does not pay attention to sitting meditation, but meditation in India and in Vietnam do not rule out meditation in such gestures of body as sitting, standing, lying, or walking. The fourth point, meditation in India is taught by Buddha himself, but in China, meditation is guided from Huineng based on Diamond Sutra, and the Trúc Zen school also based on Diamond Sutra and the emptiness of Nagarjuna. The fifth point, the Trúc Zen school combines meditation and sutra. Meanwhile, meditation in India and China are not interested in studying sutra. The sixth point, meditation in India has a supernatural tendency. Meanwhile, meditation in China individually practical in daily life, but meditation in Vietnam is practical in social and political life. And the last one, seventh point, meditation in Vietnam and in China advocates gradual enlightenment, but in China, sudden enlightenment. These are 7 points of similarities and differences among 3 types of meditation in India, China, and Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thích Tâm Đức from Vietnam, and hold your question until the end. We'll save some time for your Q&A, question and answer later on. Hopefully we have time for that. So now we'll introduce the next presenter, Dr. Sujata Thongmalai from Thailand. So please, welcome.
First of all, I would like to pay respect to the most venerables in this room, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so today I would like to share the topic that I studied, the study of the 4 Buddhist meditation school. Yeah, because of this kind of topics is very interesting, because I studied about the 4 meditation schools being both of USA and Thailand. The reason that I study this topic, because of the topic is about the happiness, the true happiness. So why we need the happiness? Because of human have a problem. So the root of the root of problems is come from the defilements in terms of Buddhism, that we know that you can click. Yes, we know that it's from the greed, anger, and delusion. So it makes human have a suffering. But the Buddha, he said, Nati Santi Pran Sukham. The meaning is there are no any kind of happiness superior than peaceful minds. So that means we have a way to find the true happiness. Okay, next slide please. And also we all know that the main principle in Buddhism have three things. That is generosity, precept, and meditation. For the meditation is very unique, and the one who practice meditation, they can purify the mind and keep the mind clean and pure. So it is the very benefit from ourselves and also from our society and the world. So why? Because of when we meditate, okay. When we meditate, we will detach from the trouble and close to the true happiness. For family, meditation can help everyone in the family have a peaceful mind and peaceful atmosphere, and also the results that we got from the meditation is better health for sure, and also reduce physical disorders caused by stress. And also, if everyone in communities know how to meditate and know how to reach the true happiness, that means the society will be peaceful, and that leads to sustainable peace. For this reason, I would like to study that lead me study the modern Buddhist organization that they operate meditation teaching centers around the world, which they run managed meditation course according to the concept of Sappaya 4 in Pali, but in English is 4 favorable conditions, which is the factors service to mental development. The reason that I choose the 4 venerable conditions, because of this is very important Dharma principle that supporting the meditation, which is which are suitable abode, suitable food, suitable person, and also suitable practice. So because of I have a few studies when I do my doctoral thesis in America for 3 months, that I do field research by observation, participant observation, and in-depth interview with the local people. That bring me really feel in-depth in the meditation practice more and more. So the meditation practice, I just want to share you briefly about the meditation in USA that I have a few research. This is 14 states that I visit and do the field research, and also they're very popular in America about the meditation. So as you can see that many people would like to join the quiet event, and also in the Harvard universities, they also would like to join the meditation. It's very it's full of the room that everyone would like to practice meditation. And also this is the atmosphere in America that I go to the New York cities. You know, it's almost every 2 or 3 blocks they will have some kind of meditation school, meditation centers in the cities. It's amazing. Okay, so this is also another meditation school in America. Okay, so I choose for this paper I choose Goenka meditation, Dhammakaya meditation, Prominent meditation, and also Shambhala meditation. They all Buddhist meditation school. So let's see the first one, Goenka meditation. Okay, this is the center in Thailand that I have a participant observation. I practiced with them 2 or 3 times during 2 or 3 years ago, and also okay, I will explain you briefly about the 4 variable conditions of the Goenka meditation. For the place, they have about 311 branches all around the world. The centers only for the long retreat. There are separate accommodation between men and women. And also the food they prepare 2 meals a day, vegetarian foods, and it's good for health for sure, and also for the personal, for the meditation teachers. They have been practiced in this technique for a long time, and also Dhamma service is like a meditation teacher's assistant. They also have been practiced many times for the 10-day courses to help that they can help the meditation teachers. And for the meditation, this kind of vipassana meditation, and I can tell you that I'm really joyful and I really love this kind of technique because of this silent meditation. No one talking to each other for 10 days. Maybe someone feel uncomfortable, but if you're familiar, you will love this kind of technique because you will learn and explore yourself, and you will see how your mind run around during a day. It's amazing. So I recommend if you would like some kind of silent meditation. So for the next school, for the purpose of the practice of Goenka, the Goenkas, like as I said, the Vipassana, they give everyone this peace and harmonies in order to release their sufferings. And also, everyone that practice, they will have a pure mind that make them more happier. So, and next is Dhammakaya meditation. The Dhammakaya, for the place of Dhammakaya meditation, they have like around 182 branches around the world, and also there's a separate place for women and men, and they have both of short and long retreat. For the food, they provide just only 2 meals a day, and also have a supplement by liquid refreshment in the evening. For the personal, the meditation teachers, they are all monks, and they have the assistant like lay people, like layman, they call upasok, lay women, they call upasika. And for the meditation, Dhammakaya meditation is they teach about the center of the bodies and the naturals of the human minds, as well as the inner gateway to enlightenment, that be familiar with the middle way path, something like that. For the meditation method, just still the mind at the center of your bodies and keep your mind comfortable and relaxed during the practicing. So if you love some kind of relaxation and comfortable meditation, this will suit to you, this technique suits to you. So for the purpose of the Dhammakaya meditation, is also they would like everyone to reach the true happiness and also to build the peaceful society. For the next slide please. For the Palm Village meditation, I love this place very much because of the atmosphere of the Palm Village is amazing, because when first time I joined them in the village, it's like I go to another world, the peaceful world with the mindfulness. The place there also, they have just 9 branches around the world because it's both of Sangha communities, resident, and the place for meditation with the Sangha. And the food they prepare 3 meals a day with vegetarian food, and it's very like interesting because we can practice meditation during we eating, Okay, for the next one, for the personal, the meditation teacher is monks and nuns, and also the volunteers that they can help to run the meditation retreats if they pass the meditation retreats of the Vipa village before. So this kind of very useful techniques because of the teachers have a mindfulness all the time during the day. So when we go back home, we can adapt ourselves to practice like we practice in Palm Village. So this kind of very interesting methods, and I also recommend you, if you like very nice atmosphere, you can join them. For the purpose of the Palm Village is like we practice mindfulness. That means we are in the present moment all the time. So the present moments can bring you reach the true happiness inside. This is like the purpose of the Palm Village. For the last meditation school is Shambhala. It is a Tibetan meditation school. So I joined them many times as well. So for the place, they have like 221 branches around the world, and also they have like both of short meditation place and the long retreat. But they separate short in the short place. They choose in the cities that are convenient to visit, and also they choose the places far away from cities and have a peaceful environment to make everyone feel happy and relaxed when we retreat. So for the food, they have like 3 meals a day, and also healthy food as well. For the personnel, the one who can be the teachers, they have to pass many courses of the Shambhalas. The one who pass that, they can be like a certified teachers, and also the one who can help, they need to pass many courses of the Shambhala as well. So for the meditation, they kind of mindfulness as well. They teach us breathe, how to breathe, and how to feel our breath and have mindfulness during a day. And the uniqueness that I really like for the Shambhala's meditation technique is we open eyes for meditation that can support us to have like more consciousness during we meditate. So no one will get sleepy or sleep in the meditation class. This is very interesting. So for the purpose of Shambhala, they all teach us touch the nature of our minds by having mindfulness all day, and also the mind that have peace is bring us can reach the happiness from inside. And Shambhala is spiritual path of studying some meditation, as well as a path of serving others and engage with our world. So you can see that everyone would like to provide the four favorable conditions as best as they can to make everyone practice easily and reach the true happiness. This is the conclusion about the suitable abode. As you can see, the Goenka and Pamela, they are focused on the long range meditation. So they separate the place for the short. They don't have to separate the place for the short meditation retreat. And also the Makaya meditation and Shambhala have a different place for both of long and short meditation retreat. And for the person, every school have the same thing, that they need to be trained before they be like a meditation teachers. So for the next one, for the suitable practice, I can tell you that every schools, they have their own technique, but they have the same goal, that they would like to teach everyone can reduce the attachment in life and have a better understanding about others. Meditation practice can reduce their mental defilement and also can bring them get rid of all defilement and suffering in life. So when when people can reach their inner peace or true happiness from inside, that means they will know themselves, and also they will understand others. That can make the societies have a peaceful societies, and also everyone that they if they give the opportunities to try meditation, they will have a true happiness immediately. So I really would like you to try meditation. You will see by yourself that how can we reach the happiness. The true happiness is always in yourself if you give yourself try meditation. So, and this leads everyone can touch the peaceful in yourself, and also can make the peaceful societies and to the world. This is this is all of my presentation, and I will thank you everyone.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Jeff Blaisdell. I'm from Oxford Brookes University in the UK. This is my fifth time to Vietnam. Two of the other times have been for family and friend visits, and I've been to the 3 Vesak, including this one in Vietnam. So I'm very pleased to be back here again. Next slide, please. So the purpose of this presentation is to consider Thich Nhat Hanh's approach to the application of mindfulness in higher education and in education generally. Okay, Thich Nhat Hanh addresses both students and interestingly teachers. I expected this text to be all about pupils, but one of his main focuses is on the teachers themselves. And he says it's important to focus on their needs because they are also human beings, and it's important that mindfulness specifically focuses on healing teachers. And his particular approach is about calming human emotions with equanimity. So why mindfulness in education? He makes the argument that it is teachers who change the world, and that is indeed the title of his book. And therefore, he says, teachers must return to the here and now, as that is the only place in which change actually occurs. Teachers are there to share knowledge, but he also points out that they have a role in students' personal development, including their happiness. And it's important to address this with both students and teachers. He makes the point that we all share a sort of loneliness, a kind of emptiness, teacher and student alike. And he points to the irony that while we have advanced with communications and technology, although not necessarily here because the technology is not working so good, we have perhaps lost skills in interpersonal communication with each other. So we need to return to an emphasis on communicating deeply with ourselves and with each other through mindful speaking and listening to each other. So what are the benefits of applying mindfulness in education? Well, I can speak certainly from the UK context, but I think this applies pretty much around the world now. There's a great emphasis in universities and schools on educational targets. There's a great stress on attainment, both for students, that they achieve as much as possible with their grades, and for teachers as well. They put out sufficient research papers and that their teaching is sufficient quality. Mindfulness can help the critical and evaluative mind, and particularly in higher education. It helps us to gain insight and helps us to reflect actually on our thinking. So mindfulness is at the very center of the whole purpose of higher education. Mindfulness helps to let us go our thinking habits and our deep-rooted opinions, and to consider other ways of thinking. And it produces non-dualistic knowledge. So it helps us to look for a dialogue with our students and to develop a dialogue with other present moment awareness in mindfulness and education instead of perpetual forward planning. This is difficult to achieve. I myself have to have achieved a certain number of research papers at the end of each year, and I have a personal development review to look at my teaching and how I have progressed overall at the university. So we all have our plans forward, but Thich Nhat Hanh says try to forget that, or at least to de-emphasize that, and try to focus on the here and now. In other words, to enjoy teaching, to be in the moment, and to be with the students, and to be with each other rather than be thinking ahead. Being present for students, educators are the same, able to cultivate mindfulness in students. And I really like this phrase. He says, slow down, let go, enjoy. And this is something that is almost unheard of now in schools and universities, at least in the UK. So the strategy with mindfulness education, I was surprised when I read this. He said, don't go and teach mindfulness to students. I was quite surprised. But he said the reason he advises that is that it might otherwise produce resistance and rejection by our students. And he also says that mindfulness can only be practiced by those whose minds and hearts are ready, and only then. So we mustn't drag people into mindfulness as an experience unless they're ready. But he teaches in an interesting way. He said if we want to teach, we should teach from ourselves, not from our speech, but from ourselves. The way that we speak, the way that we listen, the way that we behave with our lives. And if we are mindful, it shows, he says. So we don't have to tell people about mindfulness, we show them mindfulness instead through how we behave. Other benefits of mindfulness in education, the focus becomes present moment. Oh, sorry, I've covered. I'm going backwards instead of forwards. Beg your pardon. Thich Nhat Hanh is critical of modern approaches to mindfulness in the sense that, here we are talking about education and ethics. He says mindfulness is quite departed from ethics. It's become disentangled from the tradition from which it emanates, and it becomes sort of ethics free, if you like. So he says there's a need to re-embed ethics within an ethical system in order that we can learn and move forwards towards having an equitable and sustainable society. He points out that mindfulness is not not an instrumental tool or a means to an end, but it's a path of happiness. I'll not cover this in any depth, but he talks about the 5 mindfulness trainings: reverence for life, true happiness, true love, loving speech, and listening, and nourishment and healing. But what I will say is some practical things as to how mindfulness can help us in education. Through breathing, for example, it can help teachers to relax, and it can help students also to handle exam stress and often panic attacks. We can use a mindfulness bell, a literal bell, or sometimes traffic lights or a ringing phone to help us to be aware of the present moment. And walking meditation, he very much emphasizes the usefulness of walking meditation because when we do walking meditation we slow down, and it's slowing down is his main message in education. We need to slow and not rush, as in the same with walking meditation. While we're doing this, we have nothing to do, we have nowhere to go, and that's a totally different kind of thinking that prevails in education generally. And this is an important transmission. If we can slow ourselves down, then that's a very big lesson to pass on to our students. But he also criticizes education generally, that it puts us in a position of living, he says, from the neck upwards. We're living in here all of the time, and we need to, as the last presentation has just covered, we need to live with the mind and the body as well. And in universities we lead a sedentary cognitive life that puts all of the emphasis on mind, and we're sitting down all of the time. So that is another reason why there is so much stress and we need to take care of emotions, a lot of anxiety in education, and instead we need to practice states of calm and flow in order that we can be the best we can at our work. So this is all important because universities are very busy and pressured places, always moving on to the next thing. I like the way Thich Nhat Hanh proceeds to talk about embedding mindfulness in university structure and culture and values, so it's more than just one-to-one. And he talks about linking it to a teaching of ethics as well. So this is a way of taking mindfulness across the university. So that's very useful. But the criticisms I would offer of Thich Nhat Hanh's approach is as follows. He has these lovely quotes about changing the world one student at a time, and the ripples spread far and wide, but we always remember the principle of this, that the way out is in. Now, I agree with all of that as well, but ripples eventually come to an end, they eventually come to a standstill. So how does mindfulness address the wider system of education that causes so much stress in the first place? And I don't think Thich Nhat Hanh addresses that so much in his later work, and not in this book on education in particular. So the question is, how can mindfulness engage with higher education problems that aggravate mindfulness in the first place? So it's not enough for mindfulness to calm, it must lead to insight and then action on what causes stress in higher education. So I've written a few papers with Professor B. Scherer, and we talk about the need for mindfulness to impact systemic change. So how does mindfulness do that? So there are lots of problems in higher education in the UK and elsewhere. There's league tabling in schools in the UK. We have it in the news recently about children being thrown out of schools in order that the performance of the school looks better. The same is happening to academics in universities as well. So league tables can be very destructive to both pupils and teachers. There is constant restriction on pay, and pensions are constantly being eroded also. Generally, terms and conditions are being attacked. Work intensification is a big thing. Lecturers are working many hours beyond their basic contract. There is more of a culture of bullying. There is, I read recently, £10 million spent in the UK annually on non-disclosure agreements to prevent staff who have been bullied talking about their experience when they leave the university. So a lot of bullying and cultures which are not conducive to learning. Casualization, where staff only work for a few years and then don't have a permanent contract. And vocationalization, so instead of being free to look at religious studies, including Buddhism and sociology and philosophy, there is an emphasis on teaching vocational subjects, such as business, which is where I teach in business studies. So there's a great emphasis on vocational teaching and less on more traditional schools within the university. And tuition fees are very hard for students. They have to pay enormous sums, almost the sum that you would pay for a house, and they have massive debt for years and years before they can even begin to make good money for themselves. So this is my last slide, so I'm well within the time. So my problem is, I love this book, I really do, the Thich Nhat Hanh's book on mindfulness in education, and it has helped me a lot, and I commend it to you. But the problem is that I still see in it a more recent trend with Thich Nhat Hanh of what it feels like a disengaged mindfulness with no attempt at systemic change. And is this right mindfulness? So I have this phrase I thought of, is mindfulness applied to education therefore becoming an opiate of the pupil that helps capitalism to make inroads to higher education, to make it more of an industry and less of a university. I've got two questions for you before I finish it, because this is a problem that I struggle with. Question number one for you. What mindfulness practices lead to what I call a delusory nirvana that helps us to be calm, which is good. It's a very good and very important, but might also prevent us from moving forward into helping to change some of these problems in the previous slide. Because as long as those problems exist, there will be a lack of peace and a lack of, be very difficult to maintain mindfulness. But there's also a duty to move on from mindfulness to action. So the question is, what mindfulness practices put us to sleep? And the second question is, what mindfulness practices wake us up? And that is the essence of the Buddha's teaching, that it's about waking up. What mindfulness practice help reduce suffering and give us insight to structural violence, i.e. these problems here, and help us to engage and change those problems. Because I would just like to summarize by saying, I love the mindfulness approach of Take That Hand, but I need to know how we move on from there in order to change the wider problems that we have in our schools and universities, which don't so much come from within the universities, but come from the wider system. Thank you very much. Come on.
So, unfortunately, we only have the next speaker, the presenter, most venerable Dr. Thich Chua from Vietnam, but he's not here today. So now we move on to the next presenter, and just to remind you again, hold on to your questions until the end, and then you have like 10 minutes to present. So now I present to you Bhikkhu Chang Sui from Chinese Taiwan. Please.
Members and distinguished friends, my name is Chang Sui from Dhammadram Sangha University. My title is Enrichment of the Spirit from the Sixth Ethic of the Mind. And when we look at the awakening of the faith in Mahayana says, when the mind arises, all things arise. When the mind perishes, all things perish. So my paper focuses on 4 questions. The first question is mystery of the impermanence. This is from our Dhamma talk from Master Sun Yen in 2005 in New York in a retreat. He said he had a friend, and the friend of Master Sun Yen, he always sighed when Master Sun Yen said, "How are you getting on?" He will sign, impermanence. And Master asked, why? He will answer that, recently my dad passed away. And after some time, when they met again, Master asked him, how are you again? And he again, over and over, signed impermanence, because his mother and wife passed away. So when the 4th time Master Sun Yen asked him, how are you? He signed again impermanence, and he said, my son had a child, so I had a grandson. Master said, congratulations, you have a grandson. But again he said impermanence. Why? Master Sun Yen asked, it's a good news. a happy event. Why are you sighing? He said, since my son had a baby, they moved out to set up their own family, so I'm left alone. My family is getting smaller and smaller. So when people face the impermanence, they fear is not a good thing, but actually impermanence, the truth of impermanence is good or not. Let's talk in next section. So the next section is the practice of non-duality, and I will continue my third section is enrich of the spirit, and the last section is six ethics of the mind. So when we face the impermanence in life, in our life, what is impermanence? Birth, growth, and death. And when we face others, all changes in the surrounding is impermanence. I would like to say this is one of the form. And always we have agony for ourselves. And we cannot accept the change of all things. So we have attachment on it, and then we have a conflicts from all things happen around us. So we have vexations in our mind. So how can we practice from the sixth patriarch from Platform Sutra? There is a saying about this: no thought, and then no form, and the last one is non-abiding. So what is the meaning of no form? The sixth patriarch says, wholesome and learned friends, the practice of the method of my teaching since the beginning, where it is greater or certain, is established based on no thought as a tradition or school, and no form or characteristic as its body or substance, and no abiding as its nature. So, what is no form? No form, one is at least form, and at the same time does not abide in forms. And no thought, one is amidst thoughts and no thoughts. Non-abiding as one's original nature. Every thought is not abiding. So how can we practice these three no? When we have everything happen in our life, we have thoughts. Then we will describe the things, use language or thoughts to describe that. And we have attachment on it, then we have abiding on it. So what is no form? No form is we can see through the things, the essence or the nature of all things, and we find that impermanence. So we have no thought, then we don't attach on it anymore. And this is so-called worldly phenomena and non-worldly phenomena. I would like to share when I faced my father's disease, cancer, liver cancer, 4 years ago. The doctor says his cancer is stage 4 and he can live no longer half a year. But I found that no foam, so I applied no foam to treat the disease and to treat my father and take care of him. And finally, we have family tours together, and I improved my father's life quality, and we had a ceremony for him, and he was very happy to have this event, and he's staying longer than doctor says, longer than 5 months. So this is what I found, that when we can apply no foam to our life, we can apply it and focus on the things and the people, and then we can concentrate the thought from future and the past to the present moment. And we can focus on it and concentrate our mind to enrich the spirit. So my master said that how to enrich the spirit, we can apply it from the 6 ethics of the mind. The first one is family ethic, and the second one is life ethic, the third one is school ethic, and the last one is the group ethics. I was happy to find that no foam, we can apply it to enrich the mind from the ethic of the mind. Thank you.
Venerable Mahasangha, these scholars, my topic is the significance of using the Buddhist mentoring concept to build up an ethical atmosphere in global education. Who is mentor? It is not a teacher, it's not a coach, he's not a preceptor, he's not a counselor. It is all those characters are included in the role of the mentor. And sometimes it is addressed like teacher, but should add an adjective to ideal teacher, say example teacher. That's the Buddha has mentioned in Mahavagga. He has a long-term relationship with the student or mentee. Its relationship does not end in the end of the academic, it is end of the lifespan. That's why mentor is always behind the mentee. He has mutual understanding respect and empathy towards mentee, and should have sufficient qualifications. What are the qualifications of the mentor? According to Buddhism, qualification is mentor should be matured with Dhamma, and he has attained some kind of a spiritual stand. And Buddha has mentioned in Mahabharata Pali, he should be in the order studying Dhamma more than 10 years. It is the basic qualification to become a mentor. And he is capable to develop critical thinking and discipline into the mentee and student. It is basically done by the mentor when mentee is studying from him. There is a history of mentoring concept. Buddha has mentioned mentoring concept or mentor as a upadhyaya. Upadhyaya means he is not a teacher beyond that role of teacher. And we can find some notice in Odyssey. In this mythology, there is a mention about mentor. There is a mentor to Telemachus, the son of Odyssey, and there is another mention in ancient time. But currently, some educators and professionals, they use mentor concept to develop their economic side or professionals. It is especially extremely related to the job market. That's why currently they use mentor concept. But Buddhist mentoring is different of the current mentions. What Buddha used this mentoring concept to regulate the monks respectively. When the newly monks entered the order, Buddha has no time to pay attention to supervise them. Then the Buddha ordered to the senior monks to supervise new monks. It is just supervising. Then senior monks, sometimes unable to guide them regularly. In Mahabharata Pali, Buddha has mentioned, I allow you to a mentor. For what? He mentions that the duty of the mentor is to please those who not please by increasing the number of those who are already pleased. Having given reason on what is fitting and what is becoming. There's a 4 norms to set up a mentor in the Buddhism. And he further said that mentor should observe every activities of the student. What is saying, what is doing, where is he going, and basically in the probation time to establish certain ethical background in mentee, mentor should regulate and observe every activities of the mentee. Some says it is a violation of human rights, but purpose of well-being of the mentee. Fortunately, there were not human rights organizations, but mentee is observed and show the real path to attain spiritually standard. And what's the condition of the mentor? Buddha has mentioned that Pitu-chitta. Pitu-chitta means attitude of a father. You care your mentee as a father. Mentor is like a father. Mentee is a son. It is a parental relationship. Parental relationship. To care his student. And what is sharing? Sharing the knowledge. And Buddha has mentioned that sometimes mentor feel that mentor has doing the wrong thing, then he has freedom to say that you are doing the wrong thing. Therefore, it is mentor is not an authority. There is enough freedom to sharing and caring. That's the way of mentoring in Buddhism. And how to apply this concept in the modern global education arena. As you know, in modern education arena is said to be not successful. There are violence in schools and malpractices of students and shooting, misbehaviors. All those happen in schools in currently. That's why the relationship between teacher and students is it is distance. There's a distance, not close. But if we set up a teacher as a mentor and adhering all those qualities mentioned in the Buddhism, we can prevent all those malpractices, having good relationship with the student. And this parental relationship, not in a school, but in outside also, they can keep this relationship until the death. It doesn't care the age limit. Sometimes in old age, one needs a mentor. In modern times, we use counseling, but the mentor is more than counseling. counselors are they are doing a professional, but mentoring is a volunteer. That's why he is qualified enough to counsel others, to healing others, and to care others, especially the students. This it's not just a guiding, it's a showing a real path with wide understanding of the reality of the world according to Buddhism. And in the conclusion, Buddhist mentoring is strong enough to change the behavior patterns of the students. It is not depending on curriculum or syllabus or teaching materials. It is a spiritual relationship with the mentor and the student, sharing experiences of both mentor and mentee for mutual trust, understanding and interest. The goal of Buddhist mentoring is the spiritual attainment of the mentee. I thank you.
If you have any question, any concern, comments, please raise your hand and we'll pass down the mic so you can start with your question or concern or comment. Any questions so far regarding our presentation of our panelists?
About mentoring, and my question relates to holding the mentee and the mentor accountable. Could you just maybe unpack that and talk to us a little bit about how both can hold each other accountable? If that in fact is something that should happen, what are your thoughts?
Actually, mentor is a experienced person. Mentee is a less experienced person. And their relationship is dealing with mutual understanding, accountability. And they work not like a teacher-student relationship. It is a relationship with the spiritual attainment. The goal of mentee is spiritual attainment. And it is not depend on some materials like we use in normal teaching. There is two streams in Buddhism called Grantadur and Darshadur. Some enter to the order of the Buddhist monk. He has a choice. One can learn Dhamma and one can do meditation. Who do meditation is when enter the order, he is little bit matured and he is good enough to meditate and no need much admonition from the Buddha. Then this concept is can be applied to modern education system. That's why it is a parental relationship. There is no gap between teacher and student.
Thank you very much. My question goes to the Dr. Sujata about the meditation practices in USA, because you mentioned that you have some experience practicing meditation in USA. The very simple question is, today there are so many places practicing meditation in USA. So my question is, in what extent these centers used Buddhist meditation for their centers. So in training, whether they use the pure Buddhist meditation or are they mixed with other concepts as well? What is your opinion?
Sorry, I cannot hear you very well. Again, please.
Yes, you said that you have observed few places
In America, yeah.
in America. So they practiced meditation. The meditation practiced by them, not only from the as a Buddhist concept, but also sometimes they used in different way. So I want to know that according to your experience, in which extent they use these meditation practices related to the Buddhism. Or whether they are using the pure Buddhist meditation, or how they mixed with something like that.
How they mix the method, something
yes.
like that, right?
Yes.
Between the different school or something? Okay. So, as my observation in America, they have many schools. Some is Buddhist meditation school, some is not meditation Buddhist school. So I saw that they choose the method that they would like to practice, and some they create the new kind of generation of meditation school. Like they mix every method in only one place, like MDFL. It's like the centers that they invite the meditation school from different schools in that place, like Shambhala, Goenka, TM, I'm not sure about that, but Zen meditation, something like that. They invite the meditation teachers from different schools in their own place. So it's like, I think for me I think it's good for many people that they still don't know their way, or they what the technique that suits them. So it's kind of that I think is kind of new generation of meditation school.